This is Unit 2, Lesson 1. We are going to go over example number 2 here. Again, all of this will be done in class, but again, this is the video in case you need to review anything that we've covered there. So in example 2, it says, using the diagram on the right, answer the following. Before we answer the following, let's take a look at this diagram. So we have a line ACD, and we have 3 angles that share a common vertex of C. So these angles are angles forming a line. And because they form a line, we know they sum to 180. Okay. We cannot consider these 3 angles supplementary because supplementary is only for 2 angles. Okay. So they do sum to 180, however they are not supplementary because supplementary is for 2 angles that add to 180, and we have 3 angles here. So it says, what type of angle is BCE. Well, notice we have this little box here, which indicates that this is a right angle. And we know that right angles have a measure of 90 degrees. So BCE is a right angle. What type of angle is ACD? Notice all these angles have the vertex at C. Well, ACD is a straight line, so this must be a straight angle. And we know that lines, or straight angles, have a sum of a measure of 180 degrees. We can also say that AC and CD are opposite rays, because opposite rays form a straight line and sum to 180. Form an angle whose measure is 180. What is the angle relationship between ACB and ECD? Well, let's think about this for a second before we answer. We know that all 3 of these angles have to add to 180. So ACB plus your 90 degree angle plus angle ECD has to add to 180 because they're angles forming a line or they form a straight angle, and those sums are 180. But we already have 90 degrees. So if we subtract that 90 degrees from both sides, we get that angle ACB plus angle ECD has to be 90. So what angle relationship or what term do we have to represent 2 angles whose sum is 90? That is complementary angles. So angle ACB and angle ECD are complementary angles. Their sum is 90 degrees. Okay, 2 angles whose sum is 90. All right, find the measure of ECD. Okay, well, we have a formula that we can use here because we know that these 2 angles are complementary, and we know that the measure of ACB is 72 degrees plus angle ECD will give us 90. You could have used this first equation up top, but again, we're trying to learn the vocabulary, so we know that these angles sum to 90. And when we subtract 72 from 90 degrees, we get that the measure of angle ECD is 18 degrees. And that concludes example number 2.